Everyone, and welcome to this webcast. Today we're going to think about how to flex your team resource and how to manage team members who are now working remotely and may possibly be focusing on other areas of the business as your business priorities are changing. So we're going to cover today considerations when adapting your resource and your structure to deliver your new plans, and 10 golden rules to successfully manage your teams remotely. So as your business moves through the response stages to COVID-19, in many cases, there's going to be an impact on team structure as well as the way of working. So as businesses move from the reacting and the stabilizing phases into the assessing and recovering phases of their COVID response, most plans will need to be revisited and decisions made about where income is going to come from and how that's going to be achieved. So, for example, promotional plans and marketing plans will likely need to change to reflect changing shopper behaviour as well as consumer sentiment. Likewise, the channels you expected your revenue to come from will be changing as consumers are restricted to eating and drinking at home. And you may well find that you now don't have people in the right places to deliver your revised plans. For example, teams who usually serve and manage out-of-home channels may be better supporting other areas of the business that are seeing higher demand of focusing on special projects while they have the time to do so. So when considering how to reallocate your teams to support your revised plans, consider the capacity that the individuals have, and likewise how important the work that they are currently doing in their role is to the business. You may keep them in the same role, but you might want to adjust their objectives. Or you may feel that an individual can support another area of the business with all or part of their time. Secondly, what strengths and skills are required to meet your new plans? And who has these strengths? Is this a development role, or do you need to create an impact now? And likewise, who is adaptable and how quickly do you need an individual to create an impact in an altered role? This may or may not be the time to coach somebody to help them deal with a role change. You may need them to deliver an impact instantly. And likewise, is there still a value in the role that they're doing? You may decide that a percentage of team members' time can be allocated to another team while still retaining a focus on their existing role. And this might be particularly useful if you expect this change to be temporary. So you could find yourself managing team members who still report into you, but currently working within a different team in the business, if for not with part or all of their time. And all of this adds to the challenge of managing people remotely. But don't be daunted by this, just follow my 10 golden rules to managing remotely. Number 1, keep connected. Keeping connected has never been so important. Make sure you still have your regular one-to-ones just like you would do if you were in the office, and keep those formal reviews and personal development conversations in the diary. And make an effort to keep team members included. There won't be those water cooler conversations that share what people are working on, those ones which often lead to a last-minute meeting to hash out a problem or plan a project or brainstorm an idea. So don't forget to include team members and help them feel part of the problem solving. Number 2, use technology and visual tools, and use video where you can, because it's amazing the difference it can make seeing people's faces. Tools like Zoom, Skype, Microsoft Teams, etc., all enable individuals to share their screen to make it really easy to stay connected and work together. Show empathy. Change is hard and people will be concerned, so really empathise with your team. In fact, a recent study by the Harvard Business Review showed that 84% of remote workers said that their workplace challenges or concerns dragged on for a few days or more. And 41% believe that colleagues said bad things behind their backs versus only 31% of co-located workers. And that's in a normal remote environment, let alone in the one we find ourselves in now. So you should know your team members and you will have an idea of how they might be feeling about working remotely. I'm sure you've all seen this doing the rounds, but its message is really important. Empathy is absolutely crucial to build trust. Agree your timescales and expectations, and make sure individuals are really clear about what they need to deliver and by when, and for how long will this change last, and when will it be reviewed. Set smart KPIs and goals, because really clear goals provide clarity of direction and are key to motivation. Goals should be agreed and owned by the individual, not just assigned by the manager, so make sure that they are smart. And also revise individuals' objectives and KPIs to reflect the effort they're putting into the new roles and the new outputs that they're delivering, which may not be the same as what was agreed in January or the beginning of your year. Find ways to collaborate. Don't abandon teamwork and stay in silos just because you're working remotely or doing different roles within teams. Find ways to collaborate and involve others, and this is not only a great morale booster, but also it's a much better way of solving problems and creating strategies if you ensure diversity of thought. Experiment with technology to help you to collaborate. Shared documents as well as Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams and other video conferencing software that allows you to show documents during a video call is a really great way to start. And also experiment with project tracking software such as Trello, which can help keep you and your team aligned on next steps, expectations, deadlines and ownership without clogging your email inbox. Be mindful of time zones and individuals' diaries. Be respectful of time zones and people's diaries when they're working remotely, especially if individuals are splitting their roles between different teams. Be planned, don't throw in impromptu meetings without allowing time to prepare, just as you wouldn't or you shouldn't when you're in the office. And be flexible, because many of the most productive remote workers will understand when their energy level is highest and manage their time accordingly. So this may not mean working 9 to 5 in all cases. And it's another reason to give advance notice of the meeting. So don't micromanage every meeting in an individual's diary. Communicate overall team and company goals, visions and progress. Help people to feel part of the plan and stay connected to the organisation. In fact, a recent Harvard Business Review study, 80% of remote workers said they would have better relationships with more team communications. So be really open and clear about company-wide or team-wide goals, and that can help your employees to understand how their own personal goals build up into those larger goals. And for remote workers, it's particularly important because it reminds them that they're a valuable part of the team and they're not forgotten. And allow informal conversation, because remote workers miss out on the informal water cooler conversations which help build relationships and create intimacy and rapport across the team. Find a way to replace these moments. It might be a virtual team lunch or virtual team drinks on a Friday afternoon, or maybe having everyone share something about their weekend at the beginning of a team meeting. It may simply just be allowing individuals to reach out to others for a chat. And finally, give feedback. Feedback is the breakfast, lunch and dinner of champions, or so they say, and remote workers often miss out on the informal ad hoc feedback that they may have got in the office, which can add to the feeling of isolation. So take informal as well as formal opportunities to provide feedback, both positive and on the areas where you'd like to see a change. And remember that people are adjusting to what is a new way of working and maybe a new role too in what is a difficult time. So offer praise for a job well done. Remote workers and employees can often feel like their work isn't seen, it's not recognised or it's not praised. So make sure you're vocal when they do a good job. Shout them out to the whole team via email or in a meeting to show them that the work is meaningful and impacts the goals of the overall team. And focus your feedback on observed examples rather than general behaviours and make it actionable. Here's a really useful framework to use. It's called E squared C squared, which is here. So focus on the example. What have you seen? What have you heard? Or what have you observed? And what's the effect that had? What is your judgment about the effectiveness of the behaviour? So for example, the impact on me is that I do X or that I see a different reaction. So maybe your interpretation. And then what do you want them to change or continue? So what's the opportunity? What can be done differently or do more of or less of? How could you take it to the next level? So to summarise, assess the capacity, strengths and skills and adaptability of those in your teams and how they can help you and the business deliver the revised plan, and apply the 10 golden rules when managing remotely. And please get in touch if you'd like to know more.